Alright, what's up everybody? Welcome back to more 428 Shibuya Scramble. My name is Raven from the Sky, and let's continue. As he wandered through the back alleys, Kano gritted his teeth. Going after the guy on the bike had been a bad judgment call. By the time he got back up onto the pedestrian overpass, the man who had thrown the attaché case was almost out of sight. Kano prided himself on being fleet of foot, but he knew even he would never catch the guy before he disappeared. He followed the culprit as far as the alleys, but there he'd lost him completely. All he could do now was hope one of his colleagues caught the man on the motorcycle. Kuze's voice crackled through the earpiece. Mobile Command Center calling all units. Suspect on the motorcycle has hauled off the case to an accomplice in Miyashita Park, another foreigner. For real? Kano muttered. One thing immensely struck him as strange. Why hand the case off to someone else at all? Why not just escape on the bike? The man with the motorcycle dumped the bike and fled on foot. We've retrieved the bike and run the plate, and we've determined it was a stolen vehicle. Of course. We still don't have enough details to positively ID the suspect. The suspect now carrying the attaché case is heading through Dogenzaka. Also on foot. We've got him under observation. Dogenzaka, huh? That wasn't too far from where Kano was now. Looks like we're dealing with a foreign crime syndicate that's familiar with Shibuya. All units head to Dogenzaka, but do not, I repeat, do not attempt to apprehend the suspect with the case. Let's see where he goes. Kano nodded to himself. Without knowing more about the crook's MO, letting this guy go for now was probably the only right call. I just want you all to know one last thing. Kuze's tone grew more solemn. Whatever happens, I know I can count on each and every one of you. Don't disappoint me. Over and out. Kano had the unsettling feeling that the message had been meant for him. Right, it's now or never. The sudden appearance of this syndicate and its bizarre actions were rapidly moving things beyond the jurisdiction of both the MPD and the local police. Mustering his resolve, Kano headed for Dogenzaka. Kano pulled his cell phone out of his pocket. It was Rumi calling. She knew full well he wasn't supposed to take private calls while he was working the case. Rumi, huh? Maybe it was an emergency. He decided to pick up. Rumi? I'm sorry. Are you in the middle of something right now? Kind of. Is this an emergency? Well, yeah. So I'm in Shibuya right now and... Shibuya? Why does she have to be in Shibuya now, of all times? So, my father came down from Nagano all of a sudden. What? Rumi's father, Shizuyo, had been staunchly opposed to the two of them getting married. Oh God. Kano had visited his home many times, but the man had even deigned to meet him. What? The heck does that even... Danged? Dinged? Or guess wanted, never wanted to meet him. Yeah, he told me to tell you he wants to meet with you. Oh Lord. What? Now? Kano blurted the words out with more alarm than he intended. I told him you were busy working, but he said he'd wait. This can't be happening, Kano whimpered to himself. I'm sorry. I know he can be demanding. That's not the issue. Her dad offering to wait made it harder for him to refuse. All right, Kano said. But I'll have to call you back later, okay? I really am sorry. I'll be at a cafe called La Trek by the train station. Rumi hung up. Wow. For a long moment, Kano stood in a daze, staring at his phone, as if keeping up with the case wasn't stressful enough. At last, he stumbled into motion, but even as he scourged Gonzalez for any sign of the criminal, his mind remained fixed on the meeting with Rumi's dad. Well, of course it does. Shoot. There was no way of knowing when he'd be done with his casework today. But could he really pass up on a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to get her father's approval for her hand in marriage? Maybe he could slip away for just a bit. Oh, here we go. There were plenty of detectives still telling the suspect. Taking 15 minutes or so to meet with Shizuo wouldn't be such a big deal, would it? This guy is my big chance. I should go meet with Rumi and Shizuo while I can. No, right now, I've got a job to focus on. Both of them seem reasonable. Both choices. You know what? I think I'm gonna go with A. We could just slip away with all these detectives. It's now or never, Kano decided. His future happiness depended on winning over Shizuya. He might not have the opportunity later if the kidnapping case wound up going south. He just had to make sure he didn't linger too long. He was trying to decide the best way to save as much time as possible when he caught sight of a taxi passing by. He stepped out in the street to flag a cab down. The station wasn't too far away, but it'd be faster to take a car than run there. The taxi screeched to a halt. "Careful, buddy," shouted the cab driver through the open window. "You're gonna get yourself killed." Looking more closely, Kano saw that there were already someone in the back seat. Well, crap. He had considered that the cab might already be taken. Still, he didn't have time to wait for another to come along. Kano leaned in close to the back door of the taxi. "Please, I need you to let me have this cab. Beggars couldn't be choosers after all." "No way," snapped the passenger. He didn't seem the genial type. "Please, I'm begging you here. Look, I'm in a hurry, pal. Get your own cab." I know how ridiculous this must sound, but please, this is really, really urgent. Urgent? Yes, it's a matter of life or death. Please. Look, I'm sorry, but I'm dealing with something urgent here too. Then let me ride with you. I'll pay for the whole fare. My entire future's on the line here. Sorry, buddy. It's life or death on my end too. I gotta look after me and mine. Kano could see this was going nowhere. Right, so sorry to trouble you. Kano stepped back in frustration. Taxi sped away. Kano scanned the area looking for other cabs. Instead, he spotted the man attach a case. What? It was a stroke of dumb luck, but Kano wasn't going to lose sight of him now. He decided to follow. Further up along Dogonzaka in the direction the perp was heading was where Yamate Dori joined Route 246. Maybe the guy was planning to meet up with a getaway car. No, wait, hold on. If that were the plan, why would the gang have ditched the motorcycle earlier? That's true. Kano started tailing the man, rackling his brain all the while. The suspect turned down a narrow side road. He wasn't heading toward Yamate Dori or Route 246 at all, but back toward Shibuya Station. What in the world was going on? It was starting to feel like the crooks were just messing with the investigation team. Kano radioed Kuze on the wireless. "Sir, I don't think there's any point in seeing where this guy leads us anymore. That's not your call to make. Keep watching him. Sir, this is a waste of time. That girl might be in danger if Kano's argument was cut short as he saw the man hand off the attaché case to yet another foreigner. Again? How many times were these criminals going to pull this trick? The detectives broke into two groups to follow both of them. Kano followed the man with the attaché case, who eventually led him back to the area around Shibuya Station. Rumi and Shizuyo should be waiting at a nearby cafe right now. Kano tried to remember the name. That's right, it was called Le Trick. Kept his eye out for a place by that name as he tailed the target. Before long, he did spot the cafe. Its large plate glass window offered a view of the cozy interior. The sign out front read, Le Trek. Looked like this was the place. The man with the case was at the intersection, waiting for the light to change. Kano took the opportunity to peer inside. He spotted Rumi right away. She was facing away from him. So the man seated across from her must be her father. Kano realized he'd never even seen a picture of him. Shizuo grew organic produce up in Nagano nowadays, but until 2 years ago, he had been a detective with the investigation division. Rumi looked up to her father for his distinguished police career and always spoke quite highly of him. Kano had figured that if he became a policeman, Rumi might appreciate that. It was this simple impulse that had led him to join the force. He had also figured that public servants could stay afloat even in times of recession, and that his physical training would serve him well in such a line of work. Once he was a policeman, he thought he could approach Shizuo with his head held high and ask for his blessing in marrying his daughter. But after Rumi graduated from university, Shizuo had up and retired from police work. Even Rumi didn't know why he'd made the decision. Kano had traveled to Nagano many times to ask Shizuyo for permission to marry her. But the only response he ever got was, "I'm not giving away my daughter to any cop." Kano had never even gotten past the intercom before her father turned him away. Years on the force had nearly made Kano lose sight of what had driven him to become a policeman in the first place. And now the chance to meet Shizuya face to face had finally come. He peered intently to the cafe. Across from Rumi sat an older man with grim expression. Just who was this hard-faced fellow? It took a lot to rattle Kano, but the guy looked scary. Could this really be his sweet little Rumi's father? The prospect of meeting with him later filled Kano with sudden dread. The man went to the JR Shibuya station and stood before the ticket machine, like he was planning on boarding a train. Scene from a popular movie about a kidnapping sprang into Kano's mind, where the crook had made off with the ransom money after it was tossed out of the window of a train. What if this guy managed to get outside the dragnet and pull a stunt like that? Looks like the suspect is going to board a train. Kano informed Kuze over the wireless. Make sure you stay on his tail. Apparently Kuze still wanted to string the purple along for a bit. We've got the lizards ready to pursue. We'll reestablish our dragnet around whatever station he gets off at. The man purchased a ticket from the machine and passed through the gate. There was no way to tell what station he brought a ticket for, but it looked like he was heading clockwise along the Yamanote line loop. Kano used his prepaid card and made his way through the ticket gate as well. An announcement chime signaled the imminent arrival of a train up on the platform. The man made his way up the stairs, looking calm and composed. He showed no sign of checking for pursuers. Kano hurried after him. The man stopped at the very edge of the platform to await the train. Not ideal. There was no way for Kano to get close without sticking out like a sore thumb. The train glided up the platform. The man gave a quick look around as he stepped aboard. Kano followed. Trains on the Yamanote line didn't stop for long, and soon they were on their way. Glancing around, Kano noticed another MPD investigators who had slipped aboard the train as well. The suspect stood behind the driver's compartment, staring contemplatively at the scenery outside. The man's composure only served to rattle Kano more. A man in a gaudy necktie walked past Kano, talking on his cell phone. "Yes, everything's going fine on this end," he said. "There's no need to worry." In his other hand, he carried the same sort of attaché case as the man they were tailing. He headed right toward the driver's compartment and stood next to the suspect. Well, now that's not suspicious. Kano leaned his head subtly, straining to make out what he could of the phone conversation at the other end of the car. Yes, of course. 225 pages, all fully proofread. 225. That was police jargon for kidnapping. Was this guy in cahoots with the kidnapper? Maybe the criminals had planned to case swap. Kano watched the newcomer like a hawk. But rather than making contact with the suspect, the man turned around and strode back the way he came. He hadn't done anything suspicious at all. Yes, right. Understood. Kano stole a glimpse of the man's face as he passed. He stopped and looked at Kano, seemingly aware that he was being watched. Kano decided to stare him down, look away nonchalantly. His anxiety got the better of him, and after a moment he turned his gaze right back. We should have just kept looking. Soon the two men were locked in a staring contest. "Ah, my apologies," the man said. He shut his phone with a click. "I know it's rather rude to talk on one's cell phone when you're on a train. That's just common decency." The man affected a smile, then headed back to the car from which he'd come. Sheesh. Guess I overreacted. You gotta stop staring at everyone. Oddly dressed passenger murmured into Kano's ear. Blend into your surroundings more. Sasayama? When did you get here? His partner had somehow found time to change his disguise. The steely expression on his face was at odds with his anime nerd getup. Kano had seen Sasayama disguise himself as plenty of things throughout the years. Magician, samurai, and an astronaut, to name a few. But this was a new extreme, even for him. When he first joined the force, Kano had found Sasayama's costuming antics amusing. Costuming, I'm sorry, I said costuming. Wondering where he managed to find his outfits, but lately his quirk had become tedious. I need to read more. You like the ocean? Huh? Never mind. Sasayama pulled a small bottle from his breast pocket. Drink this while you can. Guessing you haven't eaten. Huh? What's this? The least I could do. He handed Kano the bottle and slipped away into the next compartment. He pulled an all-nighter and hadn't eaten, so he was glad to have something. He took a sip. Whatever this is, it was bland. It almost didn't taste like anything. Just what had Sasayama given him? Ah, what the heck? Anything's better than nothing. He brought the bottle to his lips and chugged the contents down. Oh! He suddenly got a massive head rush. He felt a heat like a burning that spread from his insides throughout his whole body. No, that wasn't right. It was an ache. It was a ferocious ache. Burning that spread from his insides to his fingertips. And there was pain. And numbing that spread from his insides all the way down to his toes. Burning, aching, hurting. Burning, aching, hurting. Burning, aching, hurting. Twitchy, itchy, dizzy, sleepy, chilly, willy-nilly. This was not good. This was super duper not good. He broke into a cold sweat. His forehead drenched, his body damp and clammy all over. He one of them energy shots. That's what it is. He felt his grip of consciousness slipping. Sasayama, what the hell did you do to me? With blurry eyes, he squinted to read the writing on the bottle. But see, he chugged the whole thing. Burn. After a scant few letters, Kano blacked out. Bad ending. The least he could do. I blacked out after drinking the unknown substance without checking to see what it was. What he drank, it turns out, was a free sample of something called Burning Hammer. But don't blame Sasayama. He was just passing along the sample he got from someone in a mascot costume. Gee, I wonder who that is. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for watching. My name is Raven from the Sky. If you enjoyed the episode, drop a like and subscribe to the channel and the series grow. Take care, and I'll catch you guys in the next episode. Peace out.